How's it going, everyone? In this video, we have some big news on Liv Morgan, Dominik Mysterio, and a whole lot more. But before we begin, please make sure to drop a like on this video. I would really appreciate it. Alright guys, so for our first story of today, we have the ratings for Monday Night Raw, NXT, and AEW Dynamite. So according to a new report from Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, Monday Night Raw drew 1,796,000 viewers with a 0.56 in the key demo rating. NXT drew 615,000 viewers and a 0.17 in the key demo rating, and AEW Dynamite drew 691,000 viewers with a 0.22 in the key demo rating. Next up, we have some big news on the upcoming changes to the Monday Night Raw and Friday Night Smackdown commentary teams. So starting in September, the Raw commentary team will consist of Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett, and on SmackDown, it will be Michael Cole and Corey Graves. But when Raw moves to Netflix next year, Michael Cole will return to Raw alongside Pat McAfee. Next, we have some news that 3 WWE superstars have re-signed with the company, as Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select reports that both Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza of Legado del Fantasma, as well as Nikki Cross of the Wyatt Six, have signed new multi-year deals with WWE, which will see them remain with the company for several more years. Moving on to our next story, we have some bad news for Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio. Because despite the backing of the Judgment Day, it looks like Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio will be unsuccessful at Bash in Berlin, because as of right now, BetOnline.com has Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest as the favorites to win the mixed tag team match this Saturday. So now guys, I want to give you my thoughts and opinions on all of the stories that we discussed today. Starting off with our first story, we did talk about the ratings for Monday Night Raw, NXT, and AEW Dynamites, and pretty much Monday Night Raw and NXT have been drawing pretty good numbers, pretty consistent numbers, which is very good for them. And however, when it comes to AEW Dynamites, I do think that they have been struggling for several weeks now to draw a consistent number. And this week's number is 691,000 viewers with a 0.22 in the key demo rating. So it is, I was kind of surprised by this number because they just came off of their biggest pay-per-view, All In, and I was expecting for them to draw at least 700,000, around 700,000, 710 or something, or number around that. However, they were unsuccessful in doing that, which is kind of concerning because Dynamite was pretty stacked in terms of having certain wrestlers, on the show, like Bryan Danielson. I thought that people would have been interested to see what Bryan Danielson was going to say in regards to him winning the title, whether he was going to relinquish it probably, or just or continue with it, which is what he is going to do. But I do think that if the rumors of Shane McMahon potentially joining AEW are true, they could Tony Khan can continue to tease Shane McMahon joining, and this can potentially create interest in AEW, which in turn will have more fans tune in and watch to see if and when that happens. So I do think that there is a very good possibility that AEW can get back to the 750 or perhaps maybe even the 800,000 viewer mark in the ratings department. But I do think that they need to increase their ratings because I believe just a few months ago they were doing pretty well, but now it has gone down significantly. So hopefully they can do that. The next story that we talked about was on the upcoming changes to the Monday Night Raw and Friday Night Smackdown commentary teams. And for Monday Night Raw starting next week, The commentary team will consist of Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett. Now, I'm not too familiar with Joe Tessitore as a commentator, but from what I've seen in reports, I have seen that he is very well aware of the product of what's going on right now in terms of storylines and characters and things like that. So it will be interesting to see just how he is as a commentator because as we all know, we have seen a lot of changes to the commentary team in terms of people leaving the company, getting signed. We have seen that a lot. So hopefully Joe Tessitore is good and he stays with WWE. And on SmackDown, it will be Michael Cole and Corey Graves, a team that many are familiar with. And I do think that they will be successful on SmackDown because obviously they have that chemistry for many years. However, when Raw moves to Netflix next year, Pat McAfee will be returning to the Red Brand alongside Michael Cole. So I'm not too sure what's going to happen with Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore. Perhaps one of them will stay on the Red Brand and the other will move to Friday Night SmackDown and have that happen. But I'm not too sure, so that remains to be seen. The next story that we talked about was about 3 WWE superstars re-signing with the company, those being Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza, and as well as Nikki Cross. And they have signed multi-year deals to remain with the company, which is pretty cool in my opinion. The other story that we talked about was on Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio versus Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest for Bash in Berlin this Saturday. And according to BetOnline.com, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest are the heavy favorites to beat Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio, which is not that too surprising because obviously when you see the two teams alongside each other, you could, and as well as how they have been booked on Monday Night Raw with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley getting the upper hand on them. This is not too surprising. However, I can also see perhaps Finn Balor and the rest of the Judgment Day getting involved in the match, causing Rhea and Priest to lose it, and then they could potentially continue to feud, to begin their singles feud with Finn Balor and Damian Priest, because as we all know, they have been teasing that for several weeks now. And then also Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, they could, do their thing. However, in my opinion, I do see Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest winning in the match, but, anything can happen. So with that being said, guys, that is all of the news that we have for today. Please make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions on all of the stories that we discussed today, because I'm always interested to see what you guys think, your opinions. So make sure to leave all of those things in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.